Hello, guys. Welcome back to Mindful Momhood. So, today we are delving into a topic that I believe impacts countless families worldwide, which is single momhood. So, I don't know whether I've shared this before. My research on while I was doing my master's in psychology, it was based on the experiences of single mothers in South Africa. And this episode was actually sparked by something I came across on Twitter. So basically, a mom actually shared her story about actually asking for legal advice on how to handle her child being bullied at school. So, in the midst of this conversation, one comment really caught my attention, and I actually stopped for a while to actually take this comment in. So, a man casually threw out the phrase like, "Curo single moms." And I couldn't help myself but to think, Guti, there is such a negative undertone to this particular comment because one, it was random. Secondly, the child does not even attend in Kuro. So where is this comment actually coming from? And at that moment, I couldn't help myself but think, in 2025, we are still hearing comments like this, really? And for me, it's sad and also frustrating to realize that stereotypes and judgments are still being thrown around when it comes to single mothers, especially in a world where we should actually be supporting each other more than ever. So, in this conversation I'll be talking about today, it's mostly about understanding the dynamics of single momhood, the stigma and discrimination that many may face, the effects of absent fathers, and also the essential role of supportive adults in a child's life. And everything that I'll be talking about will be based on what I've found in my research. So I think we should approach this topic with a sense of compassion, empathy, and also awareness, because I believe like understanding creates change, and understanding actually plants a seed for change. So I've been going back and forth on how to actually have this conversation, so that I can just create engagement. But now I just thought to myself, maybe I should just put it according to segments, where the first one will be what is single momhood. The second one would be the stigmatization and the discrimination around single momhood. The third one being the impact of absent fathers. The fourth one being the importance of healthy adult relationships. And the fourth one being the breaking the stigma and how we can move forward. And lastly, looking into what are the recommendations that I may have when it comes to the topic of single momhood in general. So one would ask, what exactly makes a parent a single mom? So according to research, it shows that single mom includes women, or mothers rather, who raise their children without a co-parenting partner, or mothers that live with their children and not with their partner. This can be due to separation, this can be due to divorce, at the death of a partner. And I've been seeing a lot of narrative. I've been hearing a lot of narratives around women that are in marriages but still feel like they are single parents even though they are married to someone and living with that particular partner. And there are other circumstances where the father is simply just absent. So this is the definition that I have used in my research to understand what it means to be a single mom. But here's the thing, being a single mom isn't just about the parenting alone. It's also about juggling multiple roles such as caregiving, being a breadwinner, being a teacher, being a protector. I'm just listing a few things, and this requires a lot of work. This requires a lot of strength and resilience, but yet society often fails to acknowledge this incredible strength, but they're only focusing more on the challenges and the judgments. So I believe that because as single mothers, we need to juggle a lot of things. Sometimes what can actually help us is having a structured schedule on how to balance work and parenting demands, such as things like a Google Calendar and also a parenting planner, which can also assist on how to balance the two, the mothering and also the work demands as well. So going into the segment of stigmatization and discrimination, it is so sad that single mothers frequently face stigmatization and discrimination. And this comes in various ways, such as judgmental looks. And sometimes people go to the extent of throwing in negative comments, and even worse, some other people are even excluded from social events simply because they are single mothers. And research has shown that these biases mostly stem from societal norms that show that in order for a family to be successful, there needs to be two parents. And also other studies revealing that single mothers are unfairly blamed or judged for having children outside marriage, and of which reality has shown that that is not true. Not all single mothers are outside marriage and had their children outside marriage. Some other single mothers had to leave their marriage because of how toxic their marriage may have been, and sometimes protecting the lives of their children, and sometimes protecting their own lives as well. So also, what has been so alarming to me and puzzling to me is that this stigma has been shown to be harsher for young single mothers, like teenage mothers, and mothers that are raising children with a disability. And guys, this particular discrimination creates an additional layer when it comes to the emotional and social burdens for both the mother and the child. I also did my research on teenage mothers in school, and I've also realized that discrimination and stigmatization was a form of punishment to that particular young mother. So society felt like they needed to stigmatize and they needed to discriminate that young girl who has fallen pregnant so that they may not repeat the same mistake again. But that particular treatment is not extended to the father of the child, because it takes two people to make a child and not one person. So I find that so puzzling and so skewed that I feel like there needs to be a lot of conversation on that. And then moving forward, when we look into the South African context, is statistics South Africa in 2023, that is, has highlighted that approximately 45.5% of children in our country are living with their mothers. So that is nearly half of the children in South Africa. And now to add another layer, due to the unemployment and the orphan crisis in South Africa, even now, grandmothers are stepping in as primary caregivers to these particular children. So we're adding another layer when it comes to single motherhood in South Africa. And I believe that single mothers in our communities require a lot of support from our communities. Even just giving that particular mother a listening ear. Sometimes just understanding where they come from and understanding what they are currently going through can actually create a lot of emotional support, and them understanding that people actually care about them rather than judging them. So the third segment is on the impact of father absence. I know this particular topic can stir a lot of engagement because we have different views on it. But what I've found in my research is that father absence is one of the significant challenges that single mothers face, because they believe that this absence has far-reaching effects on the family dynamics and the child development. I think from my point of view, I believe that we need to start having honest conversations about what's contributing to father absence. I know in South Africa there are initiatives and programs on men and men issues, and I feel like I genuinely want to understand father absence from a male's perspective, because research shows that father absence can often lead to financial strain in the single parent family household, and reducing the time that mothers have to nurture their kids, because now mothers have to spend most of their time trying to make money so that their children can live a decent life. But it's also important to understand that it's not only about the finances, but also the emotional gap that can affect a child and the mother. So when we're looking at, I'm a theorist in South Africa, theorists in psychology, the old theorists and psychologists in psychology such as Abo Erickson, he believed that early relationships with the parents are essential for building trust when it comes to the child. And he also stated that without that parental bond, children may struggle to form healthy relationships later in life. This is not a determining factor. I just want to be understood correctly. It's not to say that if the child is raised without a father, definitely the child will have relationship problems in the future. It is not to say. It says that it may contribute. So it may or may not be. So looking at, in South Africa, the historical context shaped by apartheid, it has also contributed to the high rates of father absence in South Africa, because thinking back during those times, men were forced to migrate to urban areas for work and leaving the mothers to raise their children alone. But that may not be that may not be the only factors, but looking at what is currently happening, other factors may be the high male mortality And also the late marriages, because of lobola is so pricely now, it's so highly charged, other people cannot afford it. And other factors are the paternal abandonment, which continues to exacerbate single motherhood in South Africa. I want to also emphasize something, that the absence of the father absence, and an unhealthy father figure in the child's life, those two can also may also contribute into how the child turns out to be as an adult. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it's not only about the father figure being present, it's also about a healthy father figure being present in the child's life that can also contribute into the child being a healthy adult in the future. So it is important for us to look at this in various forms, which is like having positive male role models in your child's life. This can be through an uncle, this can be through a mentor, this can be through a teacher. The studies have shown that they can form a buffer against the effects of father absence. I will just give an example with my son. My son has now made a connection that my brother is a father figure in his life without even me telling him. He knows that my brother is his uncle, but because he can see that his friends like at school are being dropped off by their fathers, and this father is someone that seems to be consistent in their friends' lives. For him, that consistent father figure is my brother. So he has translated that into my brother being his father, and also understanding that he's also his uncle at the same time. So I feel like that is what has also made me aware that sometimes the importance is not only the presence of the father figure, but the presence of a healthy father figure in the child's life that can be a buffer against the effects of father absence. Yo, guys, I'm so passionate about this topic. I think you can hear it through my voice. I think the third segment on father absence actually links with the fourth segment, which is on the importance of healthy adult relationships. Research shows that even when a biological father is absent, other adults can step in to provide love, guidance, and mentorship. So I'm talking about extended family members, your close friends, teachers, and community mentors can also play a pivotal role when it comes to the child's development and how the child may turn out to be as an adult. So there's also research in South Africa which shows that healthy social support systems show that they can have a positive impact when it comes to the emotional and psychological well-being of both the single mother and their children. So I think it's also important for us as single mothers and parents, and also I believe that we should have and build relationships with other parents, joining community groups, and also participating in school activities, in our children's school activities. I believe that these strong networks also create lasting support systems. And I think in closing, how do we break the stigma and actually move forward? I think it's time that we challenge stigma surrounding single momhood because family comes in all shapes and sizes. And I believe that some of the things that are important are things such as love, support, and stability when it comes to mothers and also their children. So, in closing, I feel like things that can be recommendations are firstly, one, to advocate for change, which is pushing for policies that provide financial, emotional, and childcare support for single parent families. Secondly, foster inclusion, such as challenging these negative stereotypes and promoting acceptance in our community when it comes to single moms. Thirdly, encourage self-care. Self-care is very important. Mother's self-care is very important because it helps with your mental and physical well-being, which is so essential when it comes to your family well-being in general. And fourthly, meaning finally, there should be access to free educational resources whereby there are parenting workshops or online courses that can help single mothers build parenting skills and also confidence. Thank you so much for joining me for this important conversation. I believe it's very important. If you have found this episode to be meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going. So if you have anything that you'd like to share, your thoughts on single motherhood and the role of community support, or anything about single motherhood in general, please share in the comment section below. Yeah, I think that is it from me, guys. Please take care and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.